The latest episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is out, entitled Option 2. S.H.I.E.L.D. agents start bickering because last time Yo-Yo had to kill Ruby, or so she says. Ruby was kinda not herself, but Daisy claims that she was getting back to her senses, but Yo-Yo killed her anyway, and Yo-Yo said she had to because it was the definite way to break the loop of fate, because Ruby was the destroyer of worlds now, and they needed to sort of get rid of the destroyer of worlds permanently in order to prevent the destruction of the Earth. May sends Daisy on a secret mission to ask the Candyman how to save Coulson. The Candyman gives Daisy the centipede serum that Centipede used in the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but said that John Garrett's had a healing factor, and that's what they needed for Coulson. Candyman gives Daisy info that he can't sort of translate because it's not a place after all, and Daisy knows exactly where to get what she needs, and starts to unearth her mom's remains, Jia-Ying, at the end of the show. So the Confederacy attacks the lighthouse. Now, this isn't the same war, obviously, as Avengers Infinity War. I was kinda hoping that it would be, since the timeline would have been in sync with the MCU and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they used to sort of do their own, one timeline thing before, but doesn't seem to be the case now, or at least until we see something later on. So maybe this isn't even the original war that the Confederacy was talking about, because this is the Confederacy attacking S.H.I.E.L.D. And remember that the Confederacy wanted to help the humans against this so-called war against the Kree. So was that war even going to be true? Aside from the fact that we've seen Cassius and the Kree in the future, there's no other indication that the Confederacy is actually telling the truth. So Coulson ends up locking down the bunker. He sort of uses a computer that reminds me of the ones being used in the Fallout games. So he picks number 2, nuclear explosion, because he didn't think there would be a number 3 that was alien attack. So it sets the bunker, the lighthouse, for a nuclear explosion, and they're locked in for 15 years to make sure that no poisonous chemicals or matter gets into the bunker. And Coulson just kinda says, oops, in a funny Marvel Cinematic Universe humor fashion. So Coulson nonchalantly announces over the PA that, due to technical reasons, we may be stranded here for 15 years. And Yo-Yo finds out that the reason Daisy is not coming to help them is because she is trying to save Coulson's life. So she says that everything's coming true because her future self told her that they should let Coulson die because it is through saving Coulson that they actually bring about the destruction of the world. And she reveals this to Coulson and May themselves. So the aliens of the Confederacy teleport inside S.H.I.E.L.D., and the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are absolutely no match for them. They have this almost EMP-like thing that renders electronics useless and turns out the lights, and they can perfectly see in the dark. So we have General Talbot being accompanied by Yo-Yo to Gemma and the others. But later on, when they're left alone, General Talbot sort of knocks out Gemma, but not because he's going through the bad side again, but because he's going to do something which everyone would deem stupid. That's right, he infuses himself with 100% of the gravitonium. Though if you think about it, this is technically just 92% of what they have of the gravitonium, since 8% of it had already been infused inside Ruby. So he seems to have control over his mind, and I'm surprised how this happened. Could it be possible, in the same way that he was able to overcome the brainwashing, he left that part of his mind in a certain place in his brain, and he did the same thing with all the talking of Ian Quinn and the scientist inside the gravitonium? Could he have separated them in a different part of his brain so he was able to clear his mind just all to himself? He was powerful. He killed the aliens and brought Coulson outside the lighthouse. He had complete control, physically and mentally, over the gravitonium. I kinda want him to be an Avenger now, and he'd actually be a powerful part of the team, because the gravitonium powers that were given to him are kinda no joke. All he needs is some training and whatnot. So the lockdown stops randomly because it says that there are no harmful elements found outside. So that's all for this episode, and I'm wondering, could they still really be stuck in the loop like Yo-Yo was indicating? So if that was the case, what Yo-Yo would have done, killing Ruby, would have been for nothing. She killed a girl who wasn't even going to end up destroying the world after all. And a sad thing for her is that now Mac is having second thoughts about being with her because of what she's done, and it could have been all for nothing again. Could Talbot be the new destroyer of worlds? Though he seems to be really in control of his powers, he didn't accidentally kill any of his allies? And if this is the case, is it still not Daisy? Is Daisy still not the one going to destroy the world, assuming that it would still happen? Which of course probably wouldn't, considering that since these are our protagonists, they would end up saving the world this time. How does this all fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, especially since Avengers Infinity War just came out, and this is about the same time as that? Though there is an indication that they could still be hinting that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still connected with Marvel Cinematic Universe, because when the Candyman met Daisy, he asked her if she knew what was going on in New York, what she thought about it. Could he have been referring to Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man versus Dark Elf and Ebony Maw, the children of Thanos, because this was what was happening during that time supposedly? If so, the world is kind of getting unlucky because they have two wars at the same time, this whole Confederacy and Kree thing against S.H.I.E.L.D. and Infinity War happening. And if you've watched Infinity War, you've seen what Thanos has done. They would be lucky if none of their personnel was affected by any of these occurrences. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.